Okay, I think it's okay. Ladies and gentlemen, we are today with St. Louis's renowned general surgeon, J. Jensen, also a member of the great class of 1961, St. Louis Country Day School. Jay, it's good to see you. You live here in St. Louis, do you?
I do. We live down in Soulard right now.
Soulard, that is an amazing area. I think I told you I was down there for a party, and I've never seen so much activity in my life.
There really is. There's stuff hopping down there all the time. Kind of a good thing about it is that when you're an old geezer like I am, then you've got a lot of designated revelers out there to take care of the party stuff so we can go to bed early at night.
That's cute. So, at any rate, you've lived at Soulard how long now?
It's been about 5 years now.
Okay. And you used to live in U City.
Did, in a place called University Hills.
Okay.
We were there while the kids were going through school.
Okay. Now, what made you think of moving to Soulard? Had you been down there before, and did you know people who lived in that area?
Really not that much. When we were raising the kids, we a lot of times had quite a number of people in the house, and so we had a little bit larger house when we were in U City. A beautiful old thing that just was finished about the end of the Depression, actually, and that was a good place to raise the kids. And when the last child and the last in-law left, as I was telling you before, Lee, at one time we had as many as 11 people living in that house.
Wow.
With us. And when they left, then my wife said, oh, okay, we're moving. So we looked around, and we have a daughter that lives in St. Louis down by Tower Grove Park. And so we looked around, and when we saw this house in Soulard, we just fell in love with it. And we moved there, and we've never regretted that at all.
Did you have to do much fixing up down there? I know a lot of people fix up their homes down there.
We didn't. It actually was what they call gut and rehabbed in the 1990s. It's a row house. It's about 125 years old now, and in the 1990s they took it all the way back to the bricks, and then built it in, and they did a really nice job, still respecting the architecture and stuff. And so no, it was really ready to go for us when we got there.
I see. So you're right near the brewery, I guess, aren't you?
Oh yeah, we're just a few blocks from the brewery. When they have Mardi Gras, it all goes to everybody's walking down the road in front of our house. When they have the pet parade, that's all right on our front steps.
Oh, that's great. That's wonderful. That's certainly an area of St. Louis that I've never really known existed, and like I said, we were down there not too long ago, and it seems like just a fabulous place to live. Just a fabulous place.
Well, you know, like you, I grew up in St. Louis, and I didn't either. The first time that I had any encounter with it really was I had a daughter that got married, and she had a reception down at a place called Norton's on Geyer. And we had a wonderful time down there, but I looked around when we were there and I said, I can't believe that people live in an area like this. I kind of wanted to get out of there, but it's amazing. And that was about 6 or 7 years ago.
Wow. So you are a surgeon, you're a general surgeon at Christian Hospital?
At Christian Hospital in North St. Louis.
Yes, I talked to Bill Klein. As a matter of fact, I interviewed him. I understand you were the surgeon removing his gallbladder.
That must have taken a great deal of trust on Bill's part, but yes, and he did a very good job as a patient.
Oh, well, I'm sure it's because he had such a good doctor. Now, you went to Denison. I see in the yearbook that it's got Denison, so that's where you did your undergraduate studies.
Right.
And then where did you go to med school?
I went to the University of Missouri in Columbia, Missouri.
And did you come back to St. Louis right away, or did you intern or do residency somewhere else?
Right. After there, after being in Columbia, I went to Rochester, New York for 2 years of residency, and then came back to St. Louis U to finish up in my surgical residency. And then when I finished that, it was still around the time of the Vietnam War, so I went in the military for 2 years, and then finally came back to St. Louis to practice in '77.
I see. And where did they put you in the military? Where were you stationed?
I was at a place called Fort Sill, Oklahoma. It's the home of the artillery.
Oh.
And my residency ended about a month before we came out of Vietnam. So I was still, it was the plan that I would be over in Vietnam in no time at all. But then that war ended, and I still had that commitment. And but it was a very good experience. We lived on post out there, and I was able to function as a surgeon in that environment. And good experience.
Fabulous, just fabulous. And I think you told me you have you're married and you have 3 daughters.
I do. We've got 3 daughters. One lives in California, and 2 live here in St. Louis.
And the one in California, is she in Northern or Southern California?
She's in Northern California. He lives across the San Francisco Bay, basically, from San Francisco, in a place called San Anselmo.
And you were telling me what she does there, or what she used to do?
She was a senior fabric designer for Williams-Sonoma for a number of years, and now she works for a company that supplies Williams-Sonoma, and still as a fabric designer.
That's right. You told me she went to the Rhode Island School of Design.
Yes.
Yeah, very famous design school. And your other 2 daughters live here in St. Louis?
They do. We have our youngest daughter, Catalina, used to work for Edward Jones. She's out of work right now. And the middle daughter, Jessica, lives off of Tower Grove Park downtown. That was part of the reason that we looked downtown when we were leaving University City. And she works at Merritt's here in St. Louis, and she's there with her daughter and her husband.
I see. Do you all do any traveling at all?
Most of our traveling now is built around going to see grandchildren. So the main trip that we've been doing recently has been going out to California and see the daughter out there. We actually sometimes we got a timeshare thing a few years ago, and we don't use it, but we give it to the kids to be able to travel.
Oh, where is it located?
It's actually down in northern Arkansas.
Oh.
But with the timeshares now, you can put aside time, and then they can travel. And my son-in-law comes from the Orlando area of Florida, and so they can go down and visit with his family and actually stay at a resort and kind of be able to have their own lives while they're down there. And so that's been nice to be able to allow the kids to do that.
Well, that's neat. Now, I know you're a doctor, and I remember your dad was a doctor. Was it always your idea to go into medicine in the same footsteps as your father?
No, absolutely not. I definitely didn't want to be a doctor, first of all, and then second of all, I certainly didn't want to be a surgeon because I thought the guy worked too hard. That was not my idea.
I see. Yeah, doctors are away an awful lot, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. And it was just that as things went along and things changed, actually when I was in medical school, I looked at other areas of medicine that I thought were a lot more rational, like dermatology or radiology or pathology. But I just didn't, there wasn't kind of the same excitement for me that there was waking up each morning not knowing what would happen, as is typical in surgery. Now at my age, I kind of wish things were a little more predictable, but it's still it's a good field for me.
Well, it's just amazing what you guys do as far as surgery is concerned. I guess it's just a constantly learning thing. I guess you could just continually learn new techniques and new ways of handling things every day, huh?
You know, that's really the case. I wear a little button or a pin on my lab coat, and that pin is a flying pig. And I use it sometimes to explain to people, if they're really uptight before an operation, they ask me what it means, and I say, well, that's when I'm really going to do good surgery, and that kind of breaks the ice for them. But the other side of it is that it really is a symbol for faith and hope. Who would have ever guessed that we'd be doing the things that we are doing in medicine now? And it is amazing, and you just have to be ready to adapt and do new things. Even in the middle of a career, I had to learn to do laparoscopic surgery after I'd already been practicing for about 20 years.
Well, Jay, it's been great talking with you. Thank you so much for your time, and we'll stay in touch with you.
Thank you. It's been a neat opportunity.
Bye-bye.